In this episode, we open up a discussion on the state of personal development. Get excited because this is Tiny Leaps. Big change, big change. Welcome to another episode of Tiny Leaps, Big Changes, where I share simple strategies you can use to get more out of your life. My name is Greg Clunas, and in this episode, I want to have a discussion on the idea of giving 110%. We sort of hear this idea a lot. We hear it pretty much all the time in the personal development space, and it's something I've been thinking on pretty recently because I actually think that this idea, the way that it's being presented today in today's world, might be a little dangerous. It might be part of the reason you're sort of being held back in your personal growth. So this should be a really interesting discussion. Before we jump into it, I do want to encourage you to head over to the YouTube at youtube.com/Greg Clunas, and more specifically to drop a comment on this video, this episode, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is meant to be a discussion, so it's really important to me that we actually talk about this, and I would love to hear your perspectives on the topics. Now, last thing here before we jump into the episode, let's talk about today's sponsor. If you're a fan of this podcast, you know that I always try my best to take care of myself. Producing this show leaves my schedule pretty dang busy, and it can take a lot out of me to create 7 new episodes every single week. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about something I take pretty much every day that helps me stay on top of my game. They're called Super Grapes Soft Chews from Human. You can think of Super Grapes Soft Chews like delicious Starbursts that leave you feeling energized while simultaneously promoting healthy blood flow and blood pressure. I've been taking them every day for the last few weeks now, and let me give you a little life hack. If you wait until your 2 or 3 p.m. energy dip to take them, you end up pushing through that time feeling alert, energized, and ready to get more done. Super Grapes Soft Chews are a delicious way to give you an energizing boost. They're packed with heart-healthy grape seed extract that protects against oxidative stress and promotes normal blood pressure. They also promote energy efficiency by supporting blood flow, and that energy you get is natural, so there's no crash and no jitters. So experience the great tasting, heart-healthy boost of new Super Grapes Soft Chews for yourself. Get your Super Grapes Soft Chews at supergrapes.com/tinyleaps and get a free 30-day supply with your first purchase. This offer is only available here, exclusive to Tiny Leaps listeners. That's supergrapes.com/tinyleaps. supergrapes.com/tinyleaps. All right, so giving 110%. So like I said, we hear this idea a lot. We hear it all throughout the personal development industry. We hear it in regards to getting things done, taking action, moving things forward. And it sort of comes from this place that ultimately I think is a nice idea, right? Like it comes from this concept of like, oh, I don't need luck, I just need to put in the effort, right? It's that hustle, it's sort of that hustle mentality concept. Like if you just put in enough work and you're willing to go hard enough and really focus on it and get it done, you can make whatever you want happen and possible. And ultimately, is that a good idea? For the right person, for the person who maybe is just getting started in their journey, or maybe is feels like their life is out of their control, right? For that person, that's a good message. That is a good concept because it allows us to recognize that there is something we control, and that is our effort. Now, here's the negative side of it. This concept of giving 110% can also be it can lead to burnout, right? So it can lead to creating a scenario where you are constantly pushing, trying to make things happen, aggressively going for things, and never getting the results that you want. And there's a few reasons for this. One is that sometimes when you are pushing to make something happen, you are stopping it from coming to you, right? If something is trying to come into your life and you are pushing, you're going to push it away. And so putting in an enormous amount of effort sometimes can lead to not actually getting the thing that you want. It can also lead to seeming and feeling a little bit desperate and feeling like this has to happen now, rather than being patient and playing your cards well and navigating the situation to sort of create that opportunity in the future, in that long game. And finally, in regards to burnout, think about that for a second. You cannot physically give 110% all the time. Like, you just can't. You are not capable of doing that. And also, why would you want to? Yes, you might love that thing. You might be passionate about it. You might be so into it. But why would you want to give 110% all the time? Giving 110% to any one thing all the time means, guess what? Not spending time with your family, not building relationships, not managing any other area of your life, right? If we look at the 6 core areas, pick one of them. Whichever one is your focus, cool, you're going to put in 110% there. Guess what? That means you've got nothing left for anywhere else. You're going to fall out of balance. And I've said it over and over again, balance is not possible, or rather, balance and progress is not possible. But you do need to pursue balance. You do need to try to make something happen while simultaneously looking back and rebalancing the scales to make sure that you don't lose the other parts of your life, because they are just as important. You cannot grow as a person. You cannot improve as a person, as a human, if you do not keep things in some sense of balance. If you don't look back and fix things when they are about to fall and catch those eggs, and whatever analogy you want to use. But it's not physically possible to give 110% to any one thing all the time, forever. And so I think that we need to start being a little bit careful about the language that we use around personal development. I've found that there are sort of 2 big extremes, right? You've got the very bro culture personal development, which is very focused on just hustle, get things done, make it happen, do the work. Insert Gary Vee quote here. I love Gary Vee, but he's sort of pushing that brand of personal development. And then you've got the other side, the other extreme, that is super focused on manifesting and dream journals and just bringing things into your life, right? Never really pursuing things and making it happen, but just bringing it into your life. So you've got these 2 extremes of the people that are like, you know what, I need to push, make everything happen, give 110% all the time. And then you've got these people that are like, oh yeah, I just need to like write it down and like manifest it and it'll come to me. I don't know why I'm doing these voices. You've got these extremes. And this is in no way to insult anyone that is on either of those extremes. At the end of the day, you got to do what works for you. I'm just trying to have a discussion about whether or not it's actually working for you. You can't give 110% to anything at all times. And you also can't just sit back and wait for it to happen to you. So what do? Well, you go all in when it counts. You focus on things like the 80-20 rule, which says that 80% of results comes from 20% of our actions. If we can identify what those 20% of actions are and focus our time and effort there, guess what? We get 80% of the results that we're looking for. But you have to be willing to get the data. You have to be willing to understand what matters. You have to be willing to, once you understand what matters, go all in those specific areas. It's not about giving 110% all the time. It's about giving 110% or 100% or 90% or whatever percentage you're capable of giving, given your lifestyle right now. It's about giving some percentage of effort when it matters. Personal development does not have to take over your life. It does not have to become who you are. You do not have to erase your existing identity in order to become the extreme Gary Vee style hustle person or the extreme sit back and chill and manifest on your dream board person. You can be who you are and just be smart about it. Focus on what matters. Spend your time and energy there. And then guess what? You can chill. You can live your life. You can spend time with your husband, spend time with your wife, spend time with your kids. Call your mom. Like, you can do all these other things. You can be a regular human being and also grow. It does not have to be the extremes. And that is ultimately what I think I want to come from this conversation, is that personal development is not about changing who you are. It's about being a better you. It's about growing. It's about improvement, not change, improvement. You are good enough. Now just be better. I know that sounds ridiculous to say, right? It's like the opposite. But like, you as a person are good enough. You just have to, like, what if you want something, you have to work towards it. Like, that's all personal development is. If you want to lose weight, you just got to work towards it. Eat better, go to the gym. If you want to make more money, you got to work towards it. Gain a skill, learn how to negotiate your contracts better. Like, whatever it is. There's a very straightforward answer to how we grow and change, and it does not exist on either of the extremes. It does not exist in hustle culture, and it does not exist in manifestation culture. It exists in taking action on the things that matter the most and moving those forward while being a regular human being who has a life and responsibilities. So I hope that this is an episode that can support you in your goals. I hope this is an episode that, at the very least, can spark a new perspective on personal development for you. And you know what? This might be one of those polarizing episodes. This might be one of those episodes where I get a bunch of comments saying, you know what? This was stupid, Greg. And that's fine. That's fine. So if you hate the episode, drop a comment down on YouTube. If you love the episode, drop a comment down on YouTube. Let's have an actual discussion around what personal development is and what it needs to be. Let's actually turn this into something that can be of value to people going forward, instead of an industry that we're all trying to monetize and grow from and become life coaches and blah, 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 blah. Personal development can be one of the most powerful tools that a human being has to improve the quality of their life. Or it can be this nonsense thing that exists on Instagram and turns people away because it's too extreme. It can be one of the two. We just got to pick which one it is for us. Thank you so much for being here. I've been Greg Clunis. Listen, if you haven't already, join us over on YouTube at youtube.com/Greg Clunis. You are amazing. I just want to remind you of that really quickly. You are such an amazing, incredible human being. Whoever you are listening to this right now, if you're driving to work, if you're driving home from work, if you're at work, if you are getting ready, if you are doing chores, you're spending time with your family, whatever it is you are doing at this very moment, you are choosing to grow and become a better person. And I commend you. You are an incredible, amazing human being. Don't ever forget that. Thank you so much for being here. I've been Greg Clunis. Be sure to click subscribe, and remember that all big changes come from the tiny leaps you take every day.